Hi guys, welcome to another episode of AJAWI TV where we discuss architectural and construction related topics. I'm AJAWI, and for today we'll actually be interviewing the Master Builders Association. Yes, the Master Builders Association. You guys have actually asked me to reach out to the Master Builders Association because you want to know what they're all about, how can they help returning residents as it relates to staying safe within the construction industry and getting construction done. What about the rate book? What are the things that you should know as a returning resident? So in this video, we'll be discussing all of these topics, from the liabilities that you should know about as it relates to taking on construction by yourself, as it relates to the safety of your workers on a construction site. Yes, even if you just got a guy from down the road to come and do work for you on your building, there are things that should be in place so that you as the homeowner are not liable, right? We'll also be discussing building contracts within this video. What are building contracts? How can it save you a lot of money as a returning resident, right? So stay tuned. If you want to know all of these things, this is the video for you. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing this video, thank you for subscribing to this channel, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I make videos just like this one, right? And I also want to thank you for your support and as it relates to giving away the couch to a charity organization. So a month ago I decided that I'm going to be giving away a couch, a two-piece couch, on my birthday. And yes, today is my birthday. Today is September the 20th, 2020. And I decided that I wanted to give back on this particular day because this is the day that I got the ultimate gift that anybody can get, which is life, right? So that's why I'm so excited. That's why I'm so happy, because today is the day that I entered this world. Yes. All right. So you guys have voted, you guys have spoken, and the Worthley girls I'm so tongue-tied. All right, let me try that again. So you guys have spoken and you have decided that the Worthley home for girls is the one that you want to get this two-piece couch. So tomorrow, which is Monday, I will contact them and let them know that, hey, you guys have been chosen to receive this gift, courtesy of the AJAWI family, right? And I want to say thank you for that. So I'm blabbering on, right? I'm blabbering. So thank you for watching, and let's head into this video. Welcome, Mr. Len. Can you pronounce your name for me, please?
Mr. Lenworth. Kelly.
So Mr. Lenworth Kelly is from the Incorporated Master Builders Association, and what we are trying to do is to basically ask a few questions that our subscribers, in particular, those that are living overseas or returning residents, are asking in relation to construction, right? So, Mr. Kelly, would you like to introduce yourself as it relates to the Master Builders Association? What's your position there and stuff like that?
Okay, I am the current president of the Incorporated Master Builders Association, and we have a secretariat that runs the day-to-day affairs of the organization. The organization is a body of contractors and trade suppliers, service providers also. And essentially what we are formed to advocate for improvements in the practice of construction and laws related to construction and regulations to support, protect the character, status, and interests of the trade and business of building and civil engineering, construction, and any other incidental business connected with construction in the country. We also exist to promote good workmanship, integrity, and an honorable practice in the trade. We negotiate along with the unions every 2 years for rates for the industry, working conditions for workers, insurances, safety protection, all of those things. We negotiate with the unions. And among, we also, our members also serve on various committees of government agencies as required. And so as asked, we respond.
So basically, the Master Builders Association, well, in my view, the Master Builders Association to me is a body that really, wait, I say, is form of a regulatory body for contractors, or I don't know if I'm getting it wrong. Would you say that you guys are a regulatory body for contractors?
No, we don't. Well, we don't regulate. What we seek to do is to promote among our members and the wider industry proper construction practices, from contract to, to performance and that kind of thing, integrity in whatever you do. And to ensure that the workers also get their fair due in the industry. So you may want to think it's kind of self-regulating, because in the absence of what you call like a contractors act, then you want to kind of ensure that there's some sense of order there, because then if it's willy-nilly, then anything goes. And have enough experience of the willy-nilly operations by some, because we don't have stuff in place like legislation which governs the industry generally.
Oh, okay. So as a contractor, how do I become a member and even stay a member of the organization? Because there are a lot of people who may want to become a part of the association.
All right. No, well, that is straightforward. We have an application form you can get from the website. You can also call in and email it to you. What you do, you fill out the application and you need 2 references or other members in good standing. And then from there on, it comes to the executive council, which will deliberate, and if there are any queries, then those will be communicated to you by the secretariat. And once you have made good with that, then you will pretty much be approved by the council. If there are objections, then they will make that plain to you and what you are to fix before you are accepted. So.
Oh, okay. So in essence, there is some form of quality assurance there as it relates to the contractors that does become a part of it, because you have some form of checks.
Yeah, what we do, we do a big part of our thing is continuing education. So we do a lot of training. We do a ton load. We currently have webinars running for free every fortnightly, and some construction related topic. So if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you can pick those up and just register, or you are accommodated.
I know about the fact that the Master Builders is really high on continued education, because
it is so wide, and for any set of practitioners anywhere in the country, if you don't keep improving, then you can get lost. You can get lost So you need to know what's happening, the right ways to do stuff and that kind of thing. So some of the topics will be repeated maybe every 2 years. You might say a topic come back because it's that important that we want to ensure everybody gets it. We also do workshops for tradesmen, tilers, steel workers, plumbing. We do workshops hands-on, and we do it in conjunction with HEART, so that the participants get a certificate at the end. And we also provide scholarships for children of construction workers in high school. For tertiary level students at UTech and at the UW, we provide some scholarships there. So for us, training is a big thing, and certification of our workforce is what we currently, and we have a current MOU with HEART. This is, I think, the third MOU we have had with HEART over the years. What we're seeking to do is to see if we can annually have job certified under HEART our tradesmen, maybe anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 tradesmen per year. Because a lot of guys, they know the job, they have no certificate. So if they come to you for a job that you ask them, so show me what you have to say you have the skill level. And so we worked out something with that, where they train contractors who are members will put up their supervisors to be trained as on-site assessors. And then you can assess the guys you're working with, let them apply to HEART, and then HEART will come in now and test them. And once they have passed the test, then they get their certificate. And that's helpful, and it gives them a sense of worth in the industry, because they have this paper now. So if they need to go far afield to work, they have them a certificate. I say, listen, man, I in my country, I am certified by this trade training institution, which is the HEART NTA.
And for those that think that, because you have in the industry, you have some players that them finish school and them start work, and from the 90s, and they have been working, but they have not been necessarily doing any form of continued learning. And as such, you find that they come on a site and they say, listen, man, from 1920 me I do this, another way me I do it. So, and they don't understand there are new ways and there are improved ways to do construction in general.
That too, and then sometimes you have been doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, for so long.
Perhaps them say selfish and shrink gloves. So it's important that continuous exposure to new information, to even the correct information is very important to ensure that our people grow. And one of the things is, we see people importing people pushing wheelbarrows. And we have such an unemployment here. We cannot afford that. I don't know how that can be justified. You are bringing in guys who are carpenters or plumbers or whatever. What are you saying to our people who are here? How do they participate in this? So we try our best to equip them, the best to improve them, because this is where they are. They can't go anywhere else. So we try and afford them the best opportunity to participate and to reach the peak of their abilities in the industry.
Yeah, so true. So, all right, so the next question that I wanted to ask is, what is a building contract and how does it protect returning residents? Because I know that the Master Builders Association, they have contracts that you can actually buy, right, to implement on your site or something like that. Because most of the times what's happening is that people are doing construction and they do not have a building contract in place.
All right. So first, the contract is something that establishes an agreement between the two parties. Here at the AJAWI, we have different forms of contract that we sell. So if you, as the building a house and you're not sure which one, we have a consultant in-house that we provide to assist the public on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's called AJAWI. There's a consultant in-house that will assist the public Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, obviously, there's a limit to the level of assistance. So we ask that people be reasonable because there are a lot of people who call in. You will be guided in terms of which form of contract may suit what you want. We have minor works contract for, smaller, pretty small. So if you build a house, you can use a minor works contract. If you want to go bigger, then what we suggest is also that you ensure that you have a professional that's monitoring your project. So whether you want to use the architect who designed the house or the engineer, or you want to use a quantity surveyor, but you really need to have a professional that speaks the same language as a contractor. Most homeowners don't speak the contractor's language. So you want to put somebody between you, the homeowner, the person who wants the house, and the contractor who will build the house. Put a professional in the middle there who can represent you to the contractor and represent the contractor to you. And that's very important in the process. So the building contract basically is what guards the relationship between the contractor on one hand and the client who wants this thing built on the other hand. Right? And so it can come from very simple, because that gentleman coming to build a little wall around your garden, I mean. Something, but write something up. Say, okay, I agree to do this thing in this way, these are the costs, these are the schedule of costs. So you can say, okay, fine. If you're going to make the wall longer, you have some rates there already, so just multiply whatever it is by the additional thing. But a lot of people enter into arrangements. I call them arrangements, not contracts. Those are arrangements with builders to construct works without the necessary safeguards. And the issue is why you need a proper contract is you will more likely have disputes. You won't say eye to eye on some things, and you need a contract now. So I'll clear that up for you. The contract is what you do. You understand? Not what I did say or you did say, whatever the contract says, and that's what. But if you don't have a contract, then it's me against you, and then it's, it's litigation, courthouse after that, and then everybody loses.
Because I want to tell you a situation that happened recently is that a gentleman, a returning resident, actually had some construction doing, and they basically got somebody around the area that was, them say them a builder and them do things all over the place. And the guy basically, he did some, what you call construction in his eyes. And when the guy came back, it was a disaster, and he cannot get remedy because there is no contract in place and the guy is nowhere to be found. And what most returning residents don't know is that once you have a contract in place, then these are the things that will govern the whole process of construction. And if there are any remedy that is to be taken, then that document kind of, outline what can be done and the process in order to get it done.
Yeah, man, I mean, you're quite correct. It's just amazing to see. I must preface this. Now, your house, for most of us, it's the largest expenditure you will ever undertake in your life. The majority of persons are purchase of a house or building a house, right? Yeah. And for those who choose to go the route of building, there are attendant issues that go with that. And you want to guard against that. You might think you're saving some money by dealing with this contractor yourself or the builder yourself or whoever you decide to assemble to get it done. And I'm suggesting, especially if you are not here present, hire a professional to oversee the process. A professional to oversee the process, because there is no end of issues mentioned. And when you have a contract, the truth is that it binds the contractor to perform in a certain way, and it binds the client to perform in a certain way. And so it doesn't come down to how I feel about you or how you feel about me. It has nothing to do with feelings. Yeah. You just abide by what the terms of the contract. stipulate. And so you operate from there. So you're standing on firmer ground in that regard.
So, all right, so we're going to move on to the next question, which is in relation to the rate books. So, what is the construction rate book and how can I go about obtaining that rate book? Is it online?
What a lot of persons probably don't know is that if our construction industry is well structured, the master builders is almost 70 years old. And within the region, I will argue that there's no other industry, no other construction industry anywhere in the region as structured as ours. So what we negotiate with the unions every 2 years are wages for categories of workers, from your laborer to your equipment operator, welders, plumbers, tilers, the whole works. And they also occur in grades, grade 1, 2, 3 in some instances. And so we set hourly wages for them every 2 years. And that that is what we abide by in the industry. And it is also reference materials for a lot of government agencies. I know the BOJ uses it, I know Statin uses it in their computations and in their considerations. So quite a few entities will send and purchase and will send out to others. And it's referenced in also quite a few contracts. They will indicate that wages are paid in accordance with the joint industrial agreement between the master builders and the unions. And so that way you don't disenfranchise the worker. The worker gets the due also. So within the contract, the worker is also protected. So you don't come, if the worker is to get $3,000 a day, you don't come paying $15,000 a day and then you get away with that. And the unions are supposed to be guardians of that. They are supposed to go to the sites, ensure that the workers are getting what they should be paid and the necessary representation, the proper gear that you're supposed to get to wear, your hard hat, your whatever, your gloves and so on.
Yeah.
So that's one side of the rate book. Those are all the rates. We also have what we call task work rates. So you may decide, okay, you want a wall built. So you will pay me some per square yard or per square meter to build the wall. So we have rates that also guide that, right? So now if you're employing obviously a contractor who will supply everything, then he would consider his labor and his material and all of that roll up. So it's gonna be different. But if you're doing smaller work, or if you're a contractor, you need to know how to pay your guys, whether you're a local contractor or you are especially for foreigners who come here to work. So you don't listen to our people. You can come and get the rate sheet, the rate book, and the book has a whole bunch of stuff in it. It tells you how to set out buildings, it a whole bunch of, it's a basic construction also. It has all the safety guidelines in there. It has grievance procedures in there. What the worker is due in terms of some things pertaining to what you are to provide the worker with. And there's also, as with on the matter of rates, there's also a safety manual for the workers that we recommend you issue to each one of your workers. As a contractor, you have safety talks with them, and you give. But it's like in a comic book format, so it's easy to understand. It's all the safety thing in there. There's like a Rasta man in there, like a lady in there.
So they can buy it online though, right?
So you understand what it's saying?
Yeah. Huh? I'm saying they can buy it online though, right?
What we have now, we haven't fully set that up yet, but you can always come in and we can have it delivered to you by beer. We sell them in preferably in stacks of 10, but you can get one to buy, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. That sounds good. That sounds really good. But on the topic of safety, I wanted to ask a question in relation to that. All right? So here is the question. If I as a returning resident, right, I decide that, hey, I'm going to take on construction myself, right? I know that I have workmen working on the site and I decide that, I don't need no safety hat, no safety boot, I don't really need no gloves. The man them just come and work. Am I really liable if there's an accident?
Yes, you will be. You're most certainly as employ them. You are the owner of the quote-unquote factory space.
Yeah.
And until the new Safety Act is fully promulgated with all the regulations that are to go with it, we still operate under the Factories Act and the BOEC regulation. So the idea that if he gets damaged on your job site, you are liable.
Yeah.
Liable. It can be his negligence. It can be the worker. It can be argued that if you didn't inform the worker about these things, then you can't. It's difficult for you to prove negligence. So what typically contractors will do is that you have a safety manager or one of the supervisors who act as a safety manager. Depending on the size of the job. For certain jobs, you have a full-time safety manager with assistant. A full safety team, and they do in the orientation, they lay down the law to you about what is required. And you get one of the magazines also, and the safety manual, and the company signs it that they will provide you with what is needed, and you sign that you will abide by the rules. Because instructions are reasons for immediate dismissal. You're talking about life and death.
And those type of situations can result in you paying out a lot of money to people. Even let's not even look at the money part. The fact that somebody died on your site is a big problem. But most people don't understand these things, and simply because they're not they're not trained within the industry, so they don't necessarily understand. But taking on construction yourself, you're really taking on a lot of risk, and that is why you have professionals that are trained to really do so. Because I've gone on site where the owner come on the site and man a smoke and man a drink, and they don't have on a hat, they don't have on a boot, and they're on a 2-story building, and you don't realize that the person is intoxicated. The person judgment is not there. And if something should happen to that person, and the simple fact that you don't know that, you should have told them, is not an excuse at the end of the day.
No, you're not about ignorance of the law and the regulations. And as you should mention that there's a recent case of a technician with a particular company, and he went to do a roast. So he do a job outside the company on his own. And he was sitting on a rail that they put on the edge of these walkways that are balconies and so on. Sitting on there, he fell off and died. So his family can't speak to his employer about that because he wasn't on his employer's job. He was on a side job, so to speak, moonlighting, roasting, as we call it in Jamaica. So the issue now is going to be whoever hired him, or is the liability dealt with there, because then you become liable, unless something written clearly somewhere that states that he's responsible for his own, he's taking care of his safety and insurances and so on. But a lot of people don't look at these things. Usually after the fact, they'll examine it.
Yeah, so true. So what facilities are there, and can I really call into the Master Builders Association and get a recommended contractor? So is there a facility for that?
What we do, we'll provide you with our list of members. I will also recommend to people that there's also the list of government contractors. Now, once you make the government list too, you would have had to have provided a whole bunch of stuff. Most contractors will tell you, but that's a tedious process just to get registered as a contractor. It's tedious. They a ton of stuff. They're audited statements, your staffing, your professionals, your equipment, that all of these things. And so if once they're contracted, then it means that they are reasonably established, and you can know, you can locate them, you can look in their eyeballs and so on. So we usually recommend that you go with one of our members are certainly someone from the government list. You can use one of the lower categories, depending on the range of work you're doing. And you can go by recommendations also from close friends and so on. I think it's those are important because they have found somebody to be of integrity who they have worked with. And that does not mitigate the need for a contract. That just says to you, okay, fine, this person can do the job and they found them satisfactory to work with, but ensure that you still have a contract in place.
Yeah, I think that most of the times they feel like because somebody is recommended, then, don't need to go through the necessary bells and whistles, we just do the thing. But that's not the case in construction because you still need the contract at the end of the day. So I'm gonna close off with you giving an advice to returning residents. What kind of advice would you give to returning residents as it relates to their safety and construction?
And when you say safety, you mean safety in the construction environment?
No, in the construction in the construction environment. I mean, if
that's okay too.
Yes. No, well, outside of that, it would be a matter for the police. But I would say that if you're a returning resident, you reside overseas, the first thing you should do is to have a professional, someone who will guard your affairs in the matter of construction. So there are a range of professionals you can. Usually you get somebody to draw your plan first. You have to make sure that the person who is preparing your drawings is suitably qualified. And also perhaps to provide some amount of monitoring when you start building. Because sometimes you get your drawings done, and when the builder is executing the work, they have issues with it, and you probably can't find a man who did the drawing. So you want to kind of ensure that if you go with they will depend on the size of what you do. I mean, if there's not a small house, then it's you can go with the regular draftsman and so on. But once you get up to a certain size, and not necessarily just a certain size, but perhaps complexity. I mean, you can have 2,000 square foot, but it's complex.
Yeah.
You want to go with a professional. So you want to go with, professional architect, engineer to design the structure. The architect does the look, the aesthetics, the flow, the functionality. You have your quantity surveyor who will generate quantities for you. So when you go to bid, when you get in prices, you don't just give everybody a drawing, because the lowest man might tell you halfway through the job, why I never price for that. They get a quantity surveyor to generate a set of quantities. So everybody who bids is apples with apples. Everybody sees the same set of things to bid on.
Yeah.
And you can use one of those professionals during the construction process to assist in monitoring and to report to you because you are overseas. We have technology. We can set up a pole on the side with a camera just to make sure that there's something actually being built. Because people who say, listen, all of this money come and then get in picture and then turn up the place, bush up with that.
Somebody overseas said that they send back money to build a nice fence around the property, and when they come back, is a couple posts and some barbed wires.
Yeah, and then what was agreed, or is there something on paper to say this was agreed and it's signed by John Doe? You kind of want. I mean, not for every single thing. If a trusted family member, or somebody, you have to be able to find somebody that can look in on it for you. You won't necessarily be able to engage a professional for smaller things, but you want somebody who you can trust to represent. Yeah. Somebody who can take two pictures.
Yeah.
Just something to say. You're getting back something. So we treat with safety in a very flippant way until as I say, it's all fun and games until somebody gets damaged. And so you want to ensure that people work safely. It may not be a site where you can necessarily, you're building like a one room on your house. You won't necessarily be able in our environment to, everybody go and get, harder. But make them have the basics, some gloves and so on. If there's, a hard hat, just those things, and make sure them wear, that basic kind of show can, keep them safe. When you get to bigger sites, obviously, you have to be properly attired.
Yeah.
And the Ministry of Labour as a occupational safety and health division, and they do inspections of sites. They inspect randomly. I know that they do. I can't say how consistent they are across all job sites, but they do, and when they come, they need to see your safety plan, and they look at the workers and just check all of these things.
Wow.
That's something, well, I've never been on a site where they stop still, but normally any site that I'm on, they have to ensure that, they have all the necessaries, even if it is small, because I know that there's a lot of issues there, and it's best to prevent than to remedy at the end of the day. That's how I look at it. But I want to say thank you for taking the time out to really speak to our audience, and thank you very much, because a lot of times we reach out to organizations and it takes a lot of time. So the response that I get, I want to say thank you for that as well, right? The response time. So I want to wish you all the best with the master builders, and also to stay safe, right? We might remember that it is COVID, so, and that is why we're even doing the Zoom thing right now. So, I want to encourage you guys, all right?
In closing too, I want to, as you mentioned, COVID, as soon as the government started making the announcements with their new protocols, the master builders issued a set of protocols for construction. We kept it simple. We make sure it was on one page. We didn't want people have to be reading through our after stuff. And I think for the most part, people have responded and abide by those protocols. These protocols for construction sites, really. And you see it on our website, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook also. I want to encourage those out there who you may need further information on construction and what to do. You may be a housewife, you may be somebody overseas. You can send an email to the master builders, imaj@cwjamaica.com. It's imaj@cwjamaica.com. You can also call us on 876-929-8580 or 876-926-8942. So you can check us out, and we are here to serve you, which is why we have employed somebody who will answer your queries at the secretariat.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time, right?
Thank you.
All right.